You're listening to the Lakewood Vineyard Podcast. For more information about our church, please visit lakewoodvineyard.org. Stay tuned until the end of our podcast to learn how you can personally respond to what you've just heard.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jay, if I've not met you, and I am your guest speaker today. And if you were hoping to hear Christian, can you brought your friends? Don't worry, I'll be gone. You should come back. This is a trial run. It is so important to celebrate in life. There is ample reasons to be sad at any moment. Amen? There's always some kind of darkness or degradation happening around us. And it takes intentionality and effort to celebrate, to pause, to pay attention to what is happening, whatever is noble, you're to pay attention to, says the Bible. And so a moment like this is a big one. I mean, those of you who maybe haven't been in church a lot of your life, you might not know this, but there are way more churches dying than are being planted right now in America. Like, way more. The stats in the United States on people even entering ministry, it's about 2 times as many people are leaving pastoral ministry that are going into pastoral ministry right now in America. So this thing you guys have been a part of for 10 years is quite literally a miracle. And it's due in no small part to your pastors and leaders. I just want to commend to you, Christian and Bridget, again. Their effort, their sacrifice. And, I mean, not too much. No, I'm just kidding. No, I really do. I commend them to you. And I'm just curious, like, in the room, how many of you were in the very first people that helped plant this church? Why don't you just raise your hand? So these people also deserve some of your applause in the back. And in a very real way, that's kind of what I want to focus on with this short amount of time I have today, because I want to get out of the way so that we can do baptisms. That's kind of the main celebration point today. But I just want to bring you a word, hopefully of encouragement and a bit of challenge in relationship to celebrating these 10 years, but then also imagining what another 10 might be like. Maybe just by way of illustration, this will be an interesting experiment. Does everyone here have a favorite restaurant? You get your choice. You can go to that restaurant. It's your birthday or it's a celebration. You all have a favorite restaurant you're thinking of? Yeah, okay. I want you to think about why that's your favorite restaurant. Is there anyone here that chose Chili's? You. Okay. Can I make a few guesses? It's either probably, I could be wrong, it's either probably the baby back ribs, the fajitas. Gotcha. Okay, see? Okay. So there you go. So, you know, and the rest of you might have a better fajitas place for you. It's totally fine. It's fine. There's, you can all judge each other later. You can interview one another, and so fajitas for you, and then just think about like even the one that you chose. You chose a restaurant. Anyone here have like Outback? Anyone an Outback person? You choose Outback? No, okay. Or a steak place, nice steak place. Anybody? Okay, you okay, right. You know, these things are fairly predictable when you think about like where you like. What's your favorite restaurant? I like the pasta for this, or I like the ambiance of that, or I like this appetizer, or I'm a little surprised there's no Outbacks. I mean, have you had that bloomin' onion? That thing is special. Okay, it's you. Yeah, it's special, man. That's a special, it's a gut bomb, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. Or you might have any number of little niche places that you like, and if I asked you about why that is, you would say, well, I like the ambiance, or maybe it's even the location, or I like the one patio, or I like this one whatever. There's a reason why you like that. And that's what makes that your favorite restaurant. Now, I want you to imagine you go to your favorite restaurant, for my friend here, let's say Chili's, and you go in this one time, maybe tonight, you go in to have dinner, and as you walk in, they were like, hey, you've been a big fan of our restaurant. You're like, I am a big fan of your restaurant. This is amazing here. I'm super pumped for the fajitas. And they said, hey, crazy thing today for special guests like you. We're going to show you how we make the fajitas. See, some of you are judging Chili's immediately. You're like, this is the turn. Come on, have a little more optimism. Okay, so you go back and you get to see how they make the fajitas. You see kind of how it's all made. And you're like, wow, this is really interesting. And they said, hey, you know what? Come back tomorrow. We'll show you some more things. And you're like, wow, I can come back tomorrow and we'll do more. Yeah, sure. Come on back. So you come on back. Except for this time, they've got an apron for you in a name badge. Sorry, what's going on? It's fine. It's just a 4-hour shift. It's not a big deal. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. And so you're like, I like the fajitas, but I don't know if I like them that much. And next thing you know, they're like, hey, you've been doing a bunch of 4-hour shifts. Here's what's great. Here's what you didn't know is we're going to start another Chili's on the other side of town. And we'd love for you to help start that Chili's. Here's what I want to say. The fajitas are good, but they're not that good. They're not so good that you're prepared to be inconvenienced by Chili's. I'm here, and this is a really simple transactional game. I pay a certain amount of money and you give me fajitas. That's how this thing works. Whatever you're doing to change the game, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, not only am I not doing that, I'm probably not coming back here. Now I'm actually sort of offended at how you've kind of tricked me into this other thing. If you're not drawing the clear, bright line, let me draw it for you right now. What I just described is what we call church. I don't know what put you in this room today. It could be you're here because a friend or a family member is being baptized and you're like, I don't know, I'm just a guest. They tricked me into this thing. I think there might be food or something after. So that's why I'm here. And that's fine. If you're here, I really hope you feel welcome, and hopefully you can celebrate this thing. Or it might be, I don't know, I came 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, or 2 years ago, or I've only been here a year. And my hunch is if you're in that second category, there was some set of things that put you in this room. It's near my home. I like the worship music. I think Christian's funny. I don't know, whatever. There's any number of things that you're like, this works for me. And it's effectively paramount to the fajitas. This seems nice. It fits sort of the nature of the contract. I come, you do the thing, and then, we have sort of an agreement on how church works. And so it works for me. You might not have even been raised in church. You may have discovered a life with Jesus in this place. And so you're like, man, I've met the Lord in this place. The thing that I needed in my life is being provided to me. I found friends. I found a place that I feel comfortable with my kids, or Or I don't know what that is, but you know what that is, I hope. I mean, you're here. No, I don't think anyone's here under compulsion. No one's been coerced to be here. I assume you came here of your own free will. And so, I mean, some of the kids are like, I don't know. Yeah, but does this count as free will? I'm a child. I didn't. Anyway, but anyway, let's rule them out for a second. to the adults I'm talking to. And I would just want to be really clear and upfront that, whatever it is that brings you into a life with God, whatever it is that brings you into the life of a church, whatever that is, whatever those sets of things are, there is a day that if you want to grow in your life with God, know what it is to be a real follower of Jesus, that one of the days you walk in the room and people have an apron. And they have a name badge. And they say, okay, what it means to be here isn't just the set of characteristics that you enjoy. What it means to actually grow in your life with God in the context of a local church is you join the sort of staff. What it means to truly be a part of a family, truly, is you pay bills and you do chores. I mean, I love being a guest. Like someone brings you over and they have a gift of hospitality. It's like, yes, I would like another glass of wine. Thank you. Whatever, right? I love it. I love it. But you've entered into a different kind of friendship, a different place in the way a family relates when you get up from the table and you get your own glass of water. When you get up from the table and, you help prepare the meal. You maybe even come early. You maybe even stay a little late. That's when you know you're a part of a family. But all the more, in the analogy, have you really joined in what it is that God is doing when you've chosen not only to sort of like help out, but now you're focused outward toward guests, giving your life away, and maybe even going so far as to stretch all the way out of your comfort zone to be a part of building like a new expression of people's life with Jesus. What I'm saying right now, throughout the history of the church and the Gospels themselves, is inherently offensive. It was offensive throughout the New Testament, but it's all the more offensive within a consumeristic American culture. The vast majority of how we interpret our lives, we make our decisions, are based upon what I get, what I consume. And I guess I just want to commend to you again and remind you at your 10-year anniversary of the heart of God that's expressed in Jesus Christ, which is that the way you actually find your life is to lose it. And listen, no shame. I'm not trying to shame or guilt anyone. I'm just telling you that this is actually how it works. I understand that you come in the door to get certain kinds of things, and we need certain kinds of things. I'm not saying that we don't need the things that God provides to us. I am saying that somewhere along the line, the thing turns over. And if you find that offensive, you are in good company. Jesus says so directly. Luke chapter 4, I could probably almost just pick any spot in the New Testament and make this case. Like I could just kind of flip the pages and just put my finger down and find a spot. But I want to commend to you this passage. Luke chapter 4, Jesus says, come out of the desert. He's beginning his ministry and he goes back to his hometown. For the commentators who would study this passage in Luke chapter 4, we would say that in a certain way, this is Jesus' sort of inaugural address. He's describing what it is that he thinks he's up to in the presence and the power of the Spirit. And this is what he says in Luke chapter 4 and verse 16. The Spirit of the Lord is on me because he's anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. He's reading directly from the scroll of Isaiah, and he's saying, and then he ends by reading this by saying, today this is fulfilled in your hearing. Let me tell you what exactly I'm here to do. I am here under the presence and the power of the Spirit, something that was prophesied somewhere around 600 years earlier by Isaiah. I have come to do this, to proclaim freedom for the prisoners, recovery of sight for the blind, proclaim good news to the poor, and set the oppressed free. I am not here for myself. I have stepped out of the comforts of heaven. God, wrapped in human flesh, is now walking around, literally setting people free, opening their eyes, doing things for the sake of others. Now, you would think that the whole synagogue stands up and cheers. But they don't. Because he turns a corner after he reads this, and he basically says that you have forgotten to join in God's mission. He's looking at the synagogue, nice Pharisees and types, and he says, you have gotten used to building purity rites and cleanliness laws that help you to separate from others. You have forgotten that the reason you have blessing is to bless others, period. And then he starts to refer to Old Testament passages where God puts favor on the wrong people simply because they're seeking after God, and often ignores the people that think that they know what they're doing. The passage ends with them attempting to murder him. I'm really hoping today ends differently for me, giving you this passage. I'm believing that we will do better. But this is inherently offensive, because what Jesus is basically saying is what I'm trying to say to you today, is this doesn't exist for you. You may receive some blessing from it, but this doesn't exist for you. The Church of Jesus Christ is the only organization that exists for the sake of people that are not in it. Let me say that again. The Church of Jesus Christ is the only organization that exists that does not exist for the sake of the people in it. That the meaning and the purpose of what it means to be the Church of Jesus Christ is for the sake of the poor and the broken and the lost, those who are bound up in addictions, in messes, and that the life and the hope that we receive in Jesus is for the sake of the places that we inhabit. And that requires, frankly, a repentance, maybe even a deliverance. May I say a detox from the culture that we find ourselves in. That we take all of the presuppositions we have about what it means to be in a place, what it means to go to a restaurant, what it means to go to a store, what it means to be every other place we are. And we say we are not going to apply those same filters to this place. That this place exists that we might encounter and experience the love and the mercy and the presence of God, so that we can be sent from this place to serve and care for those who are in desperate need. Listen to me, guys. This is really important. This is the mark of a healthy church. I mean, there's more marks, but this is a critical mark. If a church is existing solely for itself, it doesn't know it yet, but it's dying. It doesn't know it yet, but it's dying. It's getting sick. It's getting weird. By the way, that's true for you as a disciple. If your basic understanding of what it is to have a life with God is, how do I just keep getting more and more and more? How do I just, keep getting fed, to use a thing church people say. If you're getting fed without exercise, it means you are fat. And that's called unhealthy, which leads to dying. Churches that are not using the sustenance given by God for the sake of the work of serving the poor and the lost and people who are far away yet are sick. They just don't know it yet. See, this church, let's just put it more flatly. Every church, but this church included, exists because people that you do not know made sacrifices to care for people they have not met yet, which is you. People you do not know served, gave money, prayed, sacrificed so that this church exists. Listen to me, Lakewood Vineyard, on your 10-year anniversary. How is God going to call you to give your life away for people you do not know yet? Which people have not yet heard the name of Jesus? Which places need a church that have not yet had a church like this one? And how will God ask you to partner in that? Because I'm telling you that, listen to me, this is where all the good stuff is. All the good stuff is here. I know it sounds like it's like, oh man, like I just want the fajitas. Just give me the freaking fajitas. Okay, like, I know that feels like I know that feels like the way that it really feels best, but I'm telling you, all the good stuff is when you learn how to give your life away. There are some of you that maybe you've not figured this out yet, but here's the basic nature of how discipleship works. Discipleship is simply this: deciding from God and from the scriptures what's your next step of obedience, and then just doing that. That's discipleship. That's it. Some of you are leaders. Here's what leadership is, and I think I'm calling this room to be leaders if you're not hearing me. Leadership is not just about obedience. You should be doing obedience. When God speaks to you, you obey. Here's what leadership is. Leadership is sacrifice. It costs. That's what leadership is. Leadership is, it costs me money, time, and energy for the sake of something that is not to my own benefit. That's how it works. And I'm telling you, some of you know this, but some of you don't. It's where all the good stuff is. It's where all the growth comes from. It's where all the new experiences come from. Here's what's weird. 10-year anniversary today for you guys. I moved from Columbus, Ohio, home of the Ohio State University. Currently national champs. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And I moved the 9/11/2001 with 10 of my friends to help start a church in Arvada. So if you're doing the math on that, you're at 10 years. That's like right at 24 years this week for me. So some of you are doing math. That's right. I'm about 35. No, I just turned 49. So I had moved right after my 25th birthday. We moved to plant the church in Arvada. And I've been reflecting on that, and I'm reflecting with you now, because when I think over 24 years, if I'm just going to be really honest with you, the last 24 years of doing ministry, planting a church, I came from a large church. I had a great job. I was helping lead a ministry of 1,000 people. I had a paycheck and benefits, and I'd basically show up and put on a mic and talk, and people were like, that was great. And I'd be like, it was kind of great. And that was basically what my life was. I moved I'd love to tell you that wasn't true, but it's just true. That's what it was. And I moved here. I got a job waiting tables. We threw parties in a house, and we slowly built. I don't think it would have been possible to describe to me what it cost me, what it cost my wife to do what we've done for 24 years. It's cost us a lot. And if you would just put the bill of what it would have cost in front of me, this is what it's going to cost you to do this. There is no world in which I would have done that. I'm just being really honest with you. Even if you said, and here's all the other cool things that are going to happen, I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, just being really, I'm a sinful person like you. I probably would have been like, I don't know. But listen, that guy who had just turned 25, it turns out, was an idiot. Because I can tell you now, I'll be turning 50 this year, all the good stuff comes in the sacrifice. And not the sacrifice for yourself, but for the sacrifice of others. And not just for others, not just the others that are going to give you credit, but the others that don't yet know the hope that's offered in Jesus Christ. Now, this old man who's standing in front of you, is so grateful. I'm so grateful for Christian and Bridget and the few that raised their hands, because you took a gamble that a room like this might be. It doesn't always work, by the way. But you took a gamble, and now look at hundreds of people whose lives have been changed. Here's what I'm asking you to pray about Lakewood Vineyard. First of all, if you're in this room, your next step of obedience is to figure out how to put on an apron. Get a name tag, get an apron, and be a part of generating the good thing that you gave your life to in this place, because there are hundreds and thousands more all around you who do not yet know the hope and the life that's offered in Jesus. But for those who are leading in this place, I wonder, what will it cost you to plant a few more churches like this one? Who will go? Who will be sent? And there might be a few of you that the Spirit of God just speaks to right now and says, I'll go. I'll do that. I would just encourage you, begin to start asking God. By the way, I didn't ask Christian for permission for this, but I know this is in your heart. But I just felt like at this anniversary, it's the exact right time to say, hey, within the next few years, we want to plan at least one more church like this one. At least one more. And we want to start training and building that way, because I'm telling you, the best stuff comes when you give your life away. I also know there's a percentage of you in this room that are like, screw this guy. I'm just here to eat the fajitas. And that's fine. That's fine. Here's the great news about being in a church like this one. You can always be a guest, and you'll always be welcome, and we'll always serve you. But you are missing out, because all the good stuff comes in the sacrifice. So, one of the ways we celebrate what Christ has done for us, this is a profession of faith and baptism. So, Christian, do you want to come up and help lead us as we move into a spot where we will begin baptism? I'm so honored to have been with you. Thank you for letting me be with you today.
Thanks for listening to the Lakewood Vineyard podcast. We encourage you to respond to what you've just heard by sharing a prayer request with us on our Connect card. You can find this on our app or on our website at lakewoodvineyard.org/connect. You can also respond by being generous, as God has been generous to you. If you'd like to give a financial gift, you can do so at lakewoodvineyard.org/give. We hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for listening.